All right, look, you're in a treat here. We got the dynamic duo here. I got Keaton from Keaton Talks Sports, Dan from Dan Talks Football. Give us 1 minute. Yes! Yes! Oh, man, it's Friday night. And what else would you rather do than be here talking football? I'm Dan, of course. Keaton with Keaton Talk Sports is here. Great show planned. Man, Keaton, listen, I was a big fan of your videos, and I was honored you wanted to come on. But listen, please talk about you. Tell us about your channel. By the way, link is in the description below, so make sure you subscribe to Keaton Talk Sports.
Gotcha. So my name is Keith McNair. Obviously, I'll explain a little bit about myself. I'm a college graduate from Ohio Dominican. Graduated last spring. Sports management degree. I love sports. I ran cross country and track. I'm a distance runner. Obviously, I love running, that type of deal. Yeah. And then a little bit about my channel. I cover the NFL, obviously. You guys see me post weekly about my predictions. And then I also do a little bit of NBA, more towards like the playoffs, and then college football whenever those top 4 teams come out. So I'll have more of those when that comes out.
Well, I'll tell you what, you kind of nailed it here. I kind of wanted to talk about college football because I'm kind of curious who those 4 teams are going to be, and I didn't know this until we started chatting back and forth. You're a big Buckeyes fan.
Yes, I am. Yep.
Oh, do you do anything draft related by any chance?
Not really. I haven't done anything draft related. No, not that type.
Well, this I hope that when draft time comes up, I do a ton of draft stuff, and I'm hoping maybe I can get you to come back on. There might be a player drafted by Ohio State in this upcoming draft. I'm looking at maybe a wide receiver goes in the first round there. It's a possibility. Actually, I have Marvin Harrison Jr. as the number 1 player in this draft. So,
really?
Okay. Yeah, I have the number 1 overall. So it's going to be a. I can't wait to dive into Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm going to do a lot of talking about him over the next several months. But since you're a Buckeyes fan, I'm dying to know here. Is there just such a hatred of Michigan that you want them to lose, or is there like enough love for the Big Ten that you want a Big Ten or the Big 47 or whatever the hell it is now? Because if they beat Iowa, they're going to be in the college football playoffs. I mean, so like, is there any love there at all? Like, you want to see Michigan in, or do you just hate them so much? You're hoping for chaos and Iowa victory.
I wouldn't say, and this, well, of course, like when Michigan Ohio State plays, of course, I want my Buckeyes to win. But like I said, at the end of the day, like I said, we all love our sports. You know what I'm saying? Whoever wins, like I said, I'm going to be a good sport and that type of deal. But of course, like I said in my video, I picked Michigan. I think, looking at their team, they have the potential to win the whole thing. If you look at everything that they have going on with the whole cheating scandal, Jim Harbaugh not being on those sidelines for those games, the team really is motivated right now. And looking at this game this weekend, it wouldn't surprise me if they beat Iowa. I think, like I said, they have more offense and defense and that type of deal. Iowa doesn't really have any offense. So we'll see what happens there. But like I said, of course, I don't like Michigan, but if they end up winning the whole thing, it is what it is. But like I said, I'm a good sport at the end of the day. So hopefully, wish them nothing but the
Good
best.
to hear, man. I mean, that's really good to hear. Too often you get, people that just despise the other team and there's no sportsmanship. I mean, I think the only way Iowa wins this game is by like 2 or 3 defensive touchdowns and a couple of block kicks or something. One of my regulars is a huge Iowa fan. He can't make the show tonight because him and his wife are getting matching Taylor Swift T-shirts.
Right.
I'm here in Kansas City, and Kansas City Chiefs fans cannot get enough of Taylor Swift, and I mean that in the utmost sarcastic possible way. I love it personally. I'm the only person that loves it. Everybody else is losing their mind over Taylor Swift, and not in a good way. My buddy Tim is if you notice the Chiefs logo, he's actually a huge Taylor Swift fan, has all of her albums.
Really?
So, he's a huge Taylor Swift fan. And when I say that he's a huge Taylor Swift fan, he doesn't like her at all. Tim is looking forward to the show. If all hell breaks loose in college football, like with Bama, Texas, Oregon, etc., winning, who gets in? Exactly. And I'm going to fire us off here because if Michigan wins, I think they're in. Is there any possibility? Okay, so we agree there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
All right, let's start off here. Bama, Georgia. Who do you have?
So I was going back and forth. This actually took me a minute to pick. I'm picking Georgia to win just because, like I said, they're the reigning 2-time defending national champs, and you just can never write them off. And I did that last year, and they ended up winning the whole thing. So I know a lot of people are picking Bama. And actually, what surprised me is Bama won. Absolutely not. I think the Bama's a good team. Nick Saban and crew they have them playing some good football right now. So it should be a phenomenal game. But you can never write off the Bulldogs. They're still here until someone knocks them off.
No, I agree completely. I got Bama winning in an upset.
Really?
And what I think is going to happen. And I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but I think Bama will win, and I think both Bama and Georgia gets into the playoff.
Oh, really?
I think they both get in. I really do. What about Florida State and Louisville?
I got Louisville winning. I just think if you watch that Florida State Florida game last week, like Florida had a chance to actually pull the upset if they just didn't make those mental errors at the end of the game. If it wasn't for that, they would have pulled off the upset. So, and plus, Florida State's quarterbacks, I believe he's out for the year, I believe. Is that what I mean?
Yeah, he's out for the year.
He's out for the year. So I just think, So I just think it's tough for the committee, trying to figure out what your 4 best teams are. Because I feel like if you put Florida State in there, I feel like, I don't think anyone wants to see another TCU versus Georgia massacre last year.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah. And then the game that's actually going on, by the way, I have it on my DVR. If you have to blur it out in a score update, I'm not going to hate you for it, but it's I'm DVRing it. I can't wait to watch it. Mm-hmm. The final game in the history of the Pac-12. I'm kind of sad to see that conference fall apart because I got to watch, the USC at their height, one of the greatest dynasties in all of college football. Mm-hmm. USC, of course, will go to your conference. It's going to be nuts. The big whatever it's going to be. It's actually I'm interested to see what's going to happen there. Right. But it's kind of sad because it has a great tradition. It has a great tradition. Who do you have, Oregon or Washington?
I like Oregon actually. I like what Bo Nix and those rest of the team has going for them. I think they've played well for the majority of the season in terms of their consistency on the offense. Washington, like I said, Penix has been playing well throughout the season. And I really like his, he's left-handed. I like his spiral on the football.
Exactly.
And then, but I haven't really liked what I've seen them on defense. They've been getting up a lot of points, on that side of the ball. So I think that will be the difference. Their defense is going to have to make some stops against this Oregon offense. So I probably give the edge to Oregon in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same exact thing. The thing is with Penix being a lefty, I've been watching him play, and I can't determine if his throwing motion is off or if it's just because he's a lefty. Because I do a lot of draft stuff, and the first time I watched him, it looked like he had a long hitch, and it doesn't sound like much, but the difference in that fraction of a second in your windup means so much in the NFL.
Right.
With technique and the speed of the game, you can't have that hitch. And I can't determine if it's because he's a lefty or if there's a legitimate hitch in his throwing motion that could be a problem. So I'm going to be watching a lot of Penix in the upcoming bowl games in the draft process. It's something that I'm a big fan of because I like the mental makeup. I like the size. The ball leaps out of his hand like there's just the throwing power and arm talents there. The delivery time is huge. You probably don't remember this guy. His name was Byron Leftwich. Yeah. That was the reason why he never succeeded in the NFL. He had this real elongated throwing motion, and you can't do that in the NFL. It works in college. You can't do it in the pros. You could never shorten it up. And I see the first time I watched Michael Penix, I'm like, yeah, that throwing motion is there, and I have to watch more of them. It's also something that can be tightened up. I watched Jalen Hurts do that at Oklahoma. Right. And then from Oklahoma to the combine, it looked like a completely different quarterback, and now he's. I mean, maybe you could. I'm a Chiefs fan. So I'm gonna say Mahomes is the best quarterback in football. But if you told me that this year Jalen Hurts is an MVP over Mahomes, I'm not mad at you.
Oh yeah,
I'm not mad at you.
It's pretty neck to neck. Yeah,
it's close. It's close. And I'll be honest, the drops are maddening. But my buddy Tim types in, Dan, we talked about this stuff. I read Corby for Oregon State has already said he's gone. Done going into the portal NFL draft. I get why, but I hate it. One Pride 40, one of my regulars, messaged me about this. What did this? The Oregon State coach is taking over at Michigan State. He's bringing. There's no possible way I'm going to get his name right. So DJ Ugalabi. I'm butchering that. I'm terrible at names. I'm sorry. I should just call him Smith. Apparently, he's going to go to Michigan State, and it's fun for the big soon to be 47. But that's I get it too. I originally thought his eligibility was up, but I kind of want to see him for a year because I remember as a freshman at Clemson, I thought he would be the number one pick in the draft in a few years, and it's interesting. But yeah, he's going to Michigan State, Tim. He's going to Michigan State. Right. Now, Keaton, we went over. So Florida State, they lose. There's no way they get in. Washington with the loss. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but they lose one game. Oregon loses one game. Who would be your Final Four then?
So, yeah, I was going – this is the hard because it's like, okay, we know if Georgia wins, they're obviously in. And Michigan wins, they're in. So I believe those two teams are going to be in regardless. Yeah. So I believe if Washington or if Oregon wins, they're going to be that 3 spot. And I think Washington falls out because I think what the committee is going to look at is the strength of schedule. Like if you look at those teams that are behind, like Ohio State, all those teams that are right there. I think if Washington somehow loses, they're going to look at the schedules between Ohio State and Washington. So I would say, like I said in my other video, I don't think Ohio State's going to make it because, like I said, we lost to Michigan. But you saw what happened last year. I said the same thing last year where Ohio State, I didn't think they were going to make it, and the committee obviously put them in at 4. So there could be another scenario if things fall. Ohio State can find themselves back in that 4th spot. So I would probably put Georgia, Michigan, Oregon, and I probably would throw Ohio State in there if things.
Ooh, you know what? I before I just crap all over that. Look at last year. What was the best game? Georgia and Ohio State. I don't know if you looked at any. I raved about C.J. Stroud. I'm not a Buckeye fan. Mm-hmm. I raved about C.J. Stroud. He was my quarterback number 1. I fell in love with the dude. he was the best player on the field when Ohio State played Georgia. I mean,
yeah, no
what
doubt.
was it? What was it? A missed, what was it? 47-yard field goal, something like that.
Something like, yeah, it was like 40 something. It was like 41, 42
Yeah,
yard field goal.
I mean, he
Yeah.
makes that. Ohio State wins, and then it would have been Ohio State versus TCU, and I could tell you this: I'm right here in Big, I think it's still called the Big 12, but I watched TCU play. It was a great story. I never thought that they were a national championship team. I was really surprised that they beat Michigan. To be perfectly honest, I didn't think they were that good.
I was really surprised. Yeah, so we'll see. It'll be interesting.
So I'm going to throw a curveball at you. The one game I didn't bring up because I don't know who they're playing in the championship game. It's I could look it up. I'm not going to, but Texas is the other team now. Texas beat Alabama. Is there a chance Texas could overtake Ohio State?
They could. I mean, like I said, I mean, they've been playing well all season. So, I mean, you can make an argument that they can get in as well. I mean, any of those teams that are in that, 5-6 range can get in. Like I said, it's going to come down to what the committee thinks, obviously. And now strength of schedule means everything. So they're going to throw that into the equation.
Yeah, I think so too. This will be mine. So I got Bama beating Georgia. I think both those teams get in. I got Michigan, and I think the Oregon Washington winner. And I agree with you. I like Oregon. It's going to be a fun game. I've watched Oregon play a couple times. The offense of Oregon is crazy.
Yeah, ridiculous.
It's just nuts. It really is.
Yeah.
I like Bo Nix quite a bit. I don't know what he's going to do draft wise, but I think he goes in the first round.
First round, yeah. I can see majority of those quarterbacks if they continue their play. I think I can see him going in the first round as well.
I agree. It's going to be a fun draft, but like I said, Marvin Harrison is my number one player right now, and the way the draft is set up. Let me ask you a question here. So for those of you that no, I usually send an outline, so I'm throwing Keaton a curveball. I don't like doing this, but I'm just curious because you're a Buckeye fan. Jim Harbaugh, the scandal, the cheating. There's been a lot of talk about him taking over as the Bears head coach next year. Do you think that he'll stay at Michigan, or does he take an NFL job like Chicago? Washington's been up for grabs. The Raiders would be interesting. Carolina, that's another position there with Bryce Young. So let me, like I said, I don't like doing this, but let me throw you a curveball here because you're a Buckeyes fan. How would you feel? Number one, does Harbaugh stay? And if he goes to the NFL, how would you feel about it?
Me personally, I don't see him leaving college. I'd see him staying in Michigan. Like I said, I mean, he's got a lot going on there in terms of like they've been in the college football playoff the last few years or so. You saw what what's his name? Urban Meyer, when he saw what he did in the NFL, and
oh god,
how long, that didn't last very long. So I mean, NFL is a totally different beast in college. It's just
but Harbaugh's had success in the NFL.
Jim, oh yeah, maybe yes. Well, I would say if he ends up leaving, I wouldn't take the Chicago job though, just because I don't know. They got a long way to go. I don't know if I would go there. I would see him go maybe like Washington or something like that.
Yeah, I kind of look. If you're going to take the job, I think Washington makes a lot of sense. You have extra draft picks. I love that Sam Howell kid. Sam Howell,
he's got potential.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think you got something to work with there. The Raiders job. I don't know how he feels about Aiden O'Connell. Carolina to me kind of looks like a disaster, but I think that there's going to be I'm going to do a Black Monday show, and I think there's going to be about 4 or 5 position openings plus the 2 that are already open. I think we could look at 7, maybe even 8 new jobs. So I mean, we'll have to see. It's going to be an exciting off season, but
definitely.
Let's get back to the regular season here. I want to start off with Thursday night football here. the no punt game. There's only been I was at a no punt game in the playoffs. Chiefs Colts. Colts lost, or Colts beat my Chiefs at
I remember that.
You remember? Yeah, God,
it was like 45-44 or
yeah.
something in the 40s. Yeah.
It was nuts, man. It was nuts. Funk says Harbaugh to the Chargers. Nobody wants to see that, Funk. Nobody wants to see a coach with. Nobody wants to see that. Funk's trying to get underneath. No, I'm just kidding. Funk's a long time supporter. Great comment, and Funk is great to see you, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. That actually, you know what? As a Chiefs fan, I would hate that. I would absolutely hate that. But
I mean, hey, he's playing with a great. I mean, you got Justin Herbert over there. I mean, that's something.
I know. I mean, getting a former NFL quarterback to work with Herbert, to me, would just be, oh God, I hate that. I like the idea of having maybe the worst coach in the NFL coaching the Chargers. I love it.
That'll be fun. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see where he goes.
I mean, you know, he's making a ton of money. The recruiting class is awesome. I'm just wondering how the scandal is affecting everything behind the scenes.
Right.
Because I can't prove this, but I think part of the reason that Pete Carroll left USC is because of the sanctions that were upcoming. I remember. Well, I saw this on the 30 for 30, but they called it the Pony Excellent 30 for 30. If you're into that, Ron Meyer, the coach of SMU, left because he heard about the upcoming sanctions, which ended up being the quote unquote death penalty. So sometimes with upcoming sanctions, that could happen. But Funk, nobody wants to see Harbaugh go to the Chargers, man. Nobody wants to see that. Denver Gator. Oh, what's up, man. Denver? What's up, football nerds? Hey, New, tell me about yourself and your channel. Quick point. He already did that. He doesn't want to. You know what, Keaton? Actually, Denver Gators is a good friend of mine. Would you mind?
Yeah.
By the way, Denver Gator, he says his favorite team is Ohio State and whoever's playing Florida. That's what he told me. So, but would you mind giving a recap of your channel, Keaton, from my boy Denver Gator?
Yeah. So I basically started this channel. I've had it for a long time, but I just started putting stuff on it at the beginning of the football season. So I cover obviously the NFL, post weekly predictions, that type of deal. I do a little bit of college football, more towards like when the college football playoff isn't set, and then I do the NBA. So that's my channel. And then obviously, if you want to get to know myself, like I said, I'm a runner. I graduated from Ohio Dominican University with a sport management degree. And yeah, that's about it.
You know, I'm dying to talk to you more about your sports management degree and what you're planning to do with that. But I'll leave it off the table. If you have enough fun and you want to come back on, or we could continue to chat. We could. By the way, all my social media links for those of you that are joining that might be new is below there. I've had people send me a lot of other stuff. Me and Keaton been chatting back and forth. So I'm going to hit you up after the show because I have so many questions about sports management degree.
Yeah, definitely.
Another thing, Denver Gator, is that Keaton said that the Big Ten, which is going to be like 47 teams, is way better than the SEC. The SEC's trash. That's a quote from him. So I don't think he leaves Michigan, though. Maybe if they win the national championship, but I don't think he does. Yeah, Keaton agrees with you. I think he's going. I think he's going to bolt. I think that there's like blood in the water, and I think there's going to be some upcoming sanctions. And I think that with all the jobs that are coming out, I think Harbaugh's going to latch on to one. I think we're going to see some sanctions against Michigan, which really, really stinks. Denver Gator, this one's for you. Or I'm sorry, Keaton. This one's for you. Talking is hard today. From Denver Gator, who are your teams? College, NFL, NBA, women's softball. Women's softball is the big one for Denver Gator.
So college, I'm a huge Ohio State fan. NFL, I like the Patriots. Unfortunately, we're having a down year, but it's one of those years that we'll come back from. But yeah, and then the NBA, I'm like the Celtics, Boston Celtics. Been following them for a long time. And women's softball, I don't really pay attention to softball, so I'm not really into baseball, that type of deal.
Yeah, and Denver Gator, he's very adamant that Ohio State, if they played in the SEC, would have beaten every SEC team by 50, except for Florida, they would have beat them by 200. If Ohio State played Florida, Ohio State would win 210 to -3, and that's what he's been telling me all day. Ohio State is so much better than every other team in the SEC.
That's funny.
If you tuned in late, Denver Gator, he said that Ohio State should have beat Georgia by 30 last year in the championship game, but the kicker messed up. So
that's funny.
All right, I'm having some fun here. I'm all
definitely.
I had an energy drink like 2 hours ago. I'm drinking coffee. I got water. I'm all jacked up. Harb's going to the. You know what? I don't see it personally, but if he likes this Aiden O'Connell kid, and he might like that kid, but
speaking about that, but the Raiders, I know they just fired Josh McDaniels early on. I really like that Antonio Pierce. I think he's going to be the coach. He's going to be the head coach next year.
Yeah. I think he's. Let me throw out another curveball. You're the Raiders. You keep Antonio Pierce, which is what I would do. We agree there. What do you think? Do they go after a quarterback, or do you think they stick with Aiden O'Connell?
That's tough. I would stick with Aiden O'Connell though.
I would too.
I would just. I mean, because if you think of all the quarterbacks free agency, I don't know what big time quarterback would want to go to the Raiders. I mean, if you're talking about if you're trying to win, I think you should try to build around that young quarterback. I think he has, like I said, he has potential. See what he's got, and then make your decision there.
Yeah, I would do the exact same thing. I would roll with Aiden O'Connell and Antonio Pierce if I'm the Raiders, because the biggest hole, in my opinion, is that terrible offensive line. You got 2 good linemen. You probably need 2 or 3. I would the first draft pick would be whoever's the best tackle available. Denver Gator says he hates Ohio State, so he is talking some trash here. Then Denver Gator, will you please be nice to my guests? I know he said Ohio State would beat your trash swamp team by 300 points, but let's keep it nice here. What's funny here is that there are golf slappies that say the SEC is trash. And Hooker didn't see any good defense. Hooker getting to practice now at the Lions fan base, acting stupid, making shit. I'm excited to see Hendon Hooker play, and I think it'd be fun. You could maybe get a little creative, but I'd be shocked. And the final game of the season is against Minnesota. If you have that division wrapped up and you're locked into your playoff spot, a loss. I wouldn't mind seeing Hendon Hooker there, but I would be shocked if Hendon Hooker. But this is awesome, man. This is awesome, man. Keaton, what's your opinion here? I don't know if you got the chance to watch. I fell in love with Hendon Hooker last year, and then he had that injury, and I thought he was going to go in the first round. The Lions took him in the 3rd round. I don't know if you had a chance to watch Hendon Hooker play at Tennessee last year or not.
Not really. I haven't watched not much of him last year.
Right.
Tennessee.
Yeah, he was impressive. Raiders needed to hire Pierce, save some money. Still, yeah, I know they have a bad memory. Who did Florida win a national championship against? Nobody cares. Gator.
Ohio State.
Nobody cares about that, Denver Gator. I asked you to be nice, and you're anyway. Denver Gator's a great guy. All right, so let's get back to the NFL. Let's get back to what's important here. Thursday night football. We had Cowboys, we had Seahawks, we had no punts, we had tons of offense. If I counted correctly, it's 900 penalty yards. It was insane. I'm being a little facetious, but what were your thoughts on Thursday night, Cowboys and Seahawks?
I was honestly surprised with how high scoring it was. If you guys saw my video, I had the Cowboys winning by a few touchdowns. I thought, the way the Seattle's offense has looked the past couple of weeks, it hasn't been that impressive. Obviously, they came off of a loss to Seattle or to San Francisco, 31-13. So I didn't think, them going into Dallas, they would be able to do much offensively. But they definitely showed life. I mean, like I said, their playoff chances are it's on the line here. So they gave everything they had, but they obviously had a chance to win. They just the Cowboys defense got to stop at the end there, which, like I said, the Cowboys defense is legit at the end of the day. Micah Parsons is something special. So he's just, yeah.
I predicted before the season Micah Parsons would win Defensive Player of the Year. I'm not sure he's going to, but I mean, is there? I don't know how many other defensive players can play as good as Micah Parsons. I mean,
throw Myles Garrett in there too, but I mean, I think Micah Parsons has the edge over him, though. That's just me.
I love Myles Garrett. I mean, just as far as like freak athletes, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, probably just the two best pure athletes in the NFL. Right. I had my midseason prediction. I had T.J. Watt, but I'll be honest, I really don't know. I really don't know. It's interesting. My thought process was two things. I predicted a closer game than 3 touchdowns. So I'm obviously right, and I've been messing with you a little bit, having some fun here. I should stop doing that. You're nice enough to come on my show, and I'm sitting here, instigating things, but
no, you're good. No,
I was impressed with the Seahawks performance, but the way the Cowboys played and came back, they were my preseason pick to go to the Super Bowl against my Chiefs. I think that win really impressed me, and if I am correct, because I think it's not this Sunday. Next Sunday they play Philly. If I have the schedule correct.
Oh no. Who, the Cowboys? Yeah.
Cowboys
in Dallas. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm already kind of leapfrogging over to that game because I'm like looking at Philly and Dallas, and I'm like, oh wow, this could be a lot of fun. But let me ask you this here: is Dallas a Super Bowl team, or did that close game against Seattle kind of give you some pause?
That's a tough question. I mean, like I said, we've seen what Dallas does when they get to the playoffs. I mean, like I said, they play well during the regular season, but then come playoff time, palms get sweaty. I'm talking about,
I know exactly what
they just, I mean, like I said, until I see it from the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs, I'm not going to buy them as a Super Bowl contender just yet. Like, I think I have to see it consistently throughout the playoffs, but, they have to show it to me when it matters most.
It was funny. I made a short when they lost to San Francisco on the final play of the game, and I joked around somebody's going to get fired over this, and they literally fired their offensive coordinator after that.
Right.
But I want to believe in them, but you're right until they actually prove it in the playoffs. But they were impressive. I love the old school Seattle uniforms. I wish they would stick with them.
Those are so nice.
Those are sweet. Those are sweet. I was like, those are nice. The NFC playoff picture kind of looks convoluted. If the Rams win, and both of us have the Rams winning this week, the Rams would they wouldn't take over, but they would be above Seattle, and we have some other games to figure out. But basically, Seattle, I think, is now look at the outside looking in. They were 3 weeks ago, they were on top of the NFC West. I don't think they're going to the playoffs, and it's sad, but I mean, agree. It's sad because it's a talented team, but it's like, oh God, one more year.
Right. Yeah. They got a tough schedule coming up. Plus, like I said, they haven't really played as consistent as I thought they would. So, but we'll see what happens, though. You never know. It's the NFL. So,
absolutely. Any given Sunday here. Funk says, I only want to see Hooker in Week 18 this year if the Lions have their playoff spot locked up. Other than that, I agree with you, man. If he plays, you may put in like a 2-point conversion play or like some gadget play or something. But yeah, I'm with you there. James, man, what's up, brother? I'm glad Seahawks lost. It was man, God, it was a fun game. It was okay. So I was watching on Amazon Prime, and I had to work, so I watched it on replay. So I was halfway through the third quarter, and it reset. So I had to like fast forward all through it again. So I'm pissed at Amazon, but it's still fun. It's fun, great game.
That was definitely the big game of the year, though.
It was a great game.
Football.
I just had to vent. I like the Amazon. I wish it was easier to watch like on replay, because they replay it on the NFL Network, and I tried doing that, but then they post the score at the bottom of the screen, so I already know who wins, and it kind of pisses me off. It's like, I don't want to know. Inside, right. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get some tape. Maybe I tape the bottom of the screen. Tape, yeah. Denver Gator is coming at you here, Keaton. He says, people saying the SEC is weak makes me laugh. It's an NFL factory. Grab linemen and tight ends from Big Ten. Yeah, Denver Gator, you missed it. He said that Ohio State would have won the last 80 straight games against SEC. Big Ten's way better than the SEC, hands down. That's what he said before the game. He said Ohio State this year would have beat Florida 400-0. 400-0. So Washington's up 3-0. So we're gonna get updates from Denver Gator. I got it on DVR, but yeah, Denver Gator, you throw updates, man. I don't.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man, oh God, I got a treat here. I got part of the Back Talk Brothers, Gooch, aka the Talent.
What's good, Gooch?
Your boy Keys and Holly are buying matching pink Taylor Swift tank tops, and so Keys will not be in the chat today. He's not be in the chat today. Yeah, so here's a drill, Gooch. Keaton came on, and before we came on, he said that the Big Ten is so much better than the SEC. He said Ohio State.
Don't listen to him.
If Ohio State played Alabama, Ohio State would win 500-0 with backups. That's what he said. So yeah, he's really anti. Matter of fact, Keaton told me that the ACC was better than the SEC before. True story.
What has ACC done? How many years?
They had a chance. I wonder if
Clemson
would be any good. I wonder if they didn't have the quarterback injured, because I think you're right. I think Louisville's going to win. Seriously, if Florida State wins, I think they're on the outside looking in, even with a one-loss Oregon team.
Mm-hmm.
Funk messed up on his keyboard here and misspelled Chiefs, but he has San Francisco versus Baltimore this year in the Super Bowl. Hey, Keaton, man, what's your opinion on Funk's comment here?
What San Francisco versus Baltimore? Shoot, rematch of 2013. I mean, I said at the beginning. I said at the beginning of the year I had Baltimore as my dark horse to get through the AFC to get to Super Bowl. Like, I wouldn't surprise if it was those two teams. Like, that would be a phenomenal game. Lamar Jackson versus Brock Purdy, and that'd be a treat.
It would be. It'd be a lot of fun here. Yeah. Denver Gators, so many Lions fans absolutely worship Goff. They want to pay him $50+ to see if Hooker has what it takes and use that money on St. Brown. That's going to be a tough decision because, do you want to pay Goff that elite money, because then you can't pay some of the other guys? And you got some holes there too. I mean, oh God. And by the way, I think Jonah Jackson's going to be gone, but if you guys lose Penei Sewell, who, by the way, I don't know if you've been paying attention to those right tackle contracts. We gave $80 million to, I'm 38 minutes into the show and I just had name freeze. Our right tackle from Oklahoma. He played college ball at Oklahoma, drafted by Jacksonville, signed a big, and I'm drawing a complete blank on his name. So Keaton, I apologize. Every now and then I have freezes, and my advice is always call the girl baby for this reason at all. Because if you call a girl the wrong name, it's always trouble. So always call her baby. I'm bad with names. Okay, so Mike McGlinchey got $21 million, and he's not even playing that well in Denver. So when Penei Sewell's contract comes up, his agent's probably pressing for him to be the first $100 million right tackle. And if his agent's smart, that's what he's going to shoot for. He may not get it, but that's what he should. It's going to be a great offseason situation because what do? Do you give golf the big time money? Do you look at Hendon Hooker? It's going to be tough, man.
Yeah,
it's a tough one, man. Big Ten better, yeah. Gooch, Keaton came on here. He said that his Buckeyes would just beat the crap out of Alabama. He said the backups from Ohio State would beat Bama. That's what he told me. That's what he told
lies.
me. He actually has, but so he does have Georgia beating your Crimson Tide. I have Crimson Tide in an upset. I have an upset. I'm really excited about Georgia Alabama. It's going to be a good.
I hope it is the opposite way. Because everyone wants to see somebody else win other than Georgia. I mean, it would be nice, but we'll just have to see. It should be a good game.
I was thinking about it. If it works out, let's say Alabama beats Georgia and Michigan wins. Basically, it would probably have to be unless the committee tries to put Oregon at 4, which I couldn't see it. You would have Georgia playing Alabama 2 versus 3 the next week, wouldn't you?
See, I don't know if two SEC teams. I can see one getting in. I don't know if 2 is going to get in.
I think if Bama wins, I don't think you can kick Georgia out. And if Bama beats the number 1 team, I think you got to put them at 4 or maybe even 3. I don't know.
I think if it's a close game, if it's like a field goal game,
mm-hmm.
I think make an argument. I think both might be able to get in.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think if Washington wins, they're going to be in. If Michigan wins, they're going to be in. If Georgia wins, they're going to be in. I hate to say it, but if Florida State wins, they could still be on the outside looking in. But really? Yeah,
undefeated, even if they're undefeated.
Even if they're undefeated, wow. I could see it. I don't know. My dad calls me a grouchy old man. I hate this whole Final Four thing. I liked it when the conference games were the biggest games of the year, not the playoff games. But I mean, right. it's going to expand. It's going to get. I think it's going to go from 4 to. Is it 4 to 12? 4 to 8?
I think it's 12. I think it might be 12. I think it's 12.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 12, and it's going to go from 12 to 16 soon too. So. Ooh. Yeah. I said that so you knew I was being facetious, Gooch, because I have a guest on for the first time, and I'm sitting here and I'm being kind of mean, picking on him a little bit, but I just found out like a few hours ago he was a Buckeyes fan, and I'm kind of geeked out about it because I think Marvin Harrison could go number 1 in the draft, and he is my number 1 player. As much as I love that Rome, I can't think of the guy's last name, the wide receiver out of Washington. I have a huge man crush on that young man. He is good. But he's not Marvin Harrison Jr. So.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I know. I had some fun.
Yeah. Yep.
They literally make up things and call Hooker a 35-year-old.
And no quarterback.
And no quarterback from a gimmicky offense has ever succeeded in the NFL. By the way, a quarterback from a gimmicky offense that's succeeded in the NFL? Worst 15 for my team. That's a gimmicky quarterback right there. So, yeah. Jawan Taylor, yes, that's the guy's name. By the way, this is I'm bad with names. This is why you call her baby. Always call your girl baby. So we won't go into your personal life, but that's my advice. You start calling her baby right now. 10-0 Washington. All right. Ooh. All right. Hey, the one thing is it doesn't really matter. I think it matters if Oregon jumps up 10-0, but with Washington, it really doesn't matter because Oregon can score in bunches and they can score fast.
Still in the first quarter, right?
So I think so.
I'm sorry, I'm DVRing too, so.
Yeah. Denver Gators ruining it because you're a Buckeyes would beat the crap out of his Gators by 700, so he's torturing us. That's okay. Hatters House 710. Go Lions! You know what? Because we are going to talk about the Saints and Lions. But first game I want to talk about for week 13. Both of us put out videos. By the way, I put the link to Keaton Talk Sports picks videos. It's not as good as mine, but check it out anyway. And please, by the way, please subscribe to Keaton Talk Sports, because he's not only going to talk football, he's going to talk college football, he's going to talk NBA basketball. I know nothing about NBA basketball. I know LeBron is good, but I know he's with the Lakers, and that's the extent of my knowledge.
Right.
I started watching basketball like in the 90s. I got to watch Jordan in his heyday. That's like, as soon as Jordan left, I was like, I tried for a few years. It just wasn't the same.
Basketball was good. Basketball was actually simple. Like, you can't even put your hands on people now. It's like NBA is definitely soft now.
College, I don't know if you do college basketball, but when I started watching college basketball, that was like the golden era. You had UNLV with the undefeated team, Christian Laettner, the Fab Five.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Shaquille O'Neal at LSU was just the most insane thing you've ever seen in your life. And he had to play 3 years at LSU, unlike today where he would have gone straight to the NBA.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, wait a minute. They got that rule now. You have to play 1 year in college or overseas or something. But,
right.
watching like Shaquille O'Neal at LSU was so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. The last couple of years, I haven't even watched college basketball at all, not even Final Four. I know it sounds nuts, but I just really haven't. The kid I really like coming out this year, my draft crush, is Latte Lutu. Kid's got nasty handwork and a lines and pass rush. He's the guy for Ohio State, if I'm correct. Is that right, Keaton?
Yeah, he is.
If I remember right, he had a sack against I'm gonna butcher his name, Fasanu, the star left tackle, who people think is going to be amazing. That iced the game for Ohio State against Penn State. He had the sack against Fasanu. I actually thought he was a sophomore. To tell you the truth, I thought he was a sophomore. But if he's a redshirt sophomore and he comes out, he's a first rounder. He's a first round pick. I do know that. Do you know off the top of your head, Keaton? Is he a sophomore? Is he even draft eligible?
I don't think he might be a sophomore or junior. I think he might be a sophomore, but I might have to go back.
I think he's a sophomore. I don't know if he's draft eligible, Funk. If he is, the kid from UCLA. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'm just making shit up. All right. I thought this was the kid out of Ohio State because we're doing so much Buckeye talk. And Funk, you know this. We're gonna dive. We're gonna do like a ton of draft stuff here. If I subbed your channel, can I guarantee you I have a 439% chance a glacier will not hit my car while driving? The answer is yes, Denver Gator. And if you subscribe to Keaton Talks Sports, that goes up to 469. So definitely hit that subscribe. Let's start with the week 13 here. One game I was kind of surprised. Now, keep in mind, I watched your video and then I found out you're a Patriots fan. So let me start off here. Do you pick the Patriots to win every week regardless?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm realistic. Like, when it comes to me, I'm realistic with my team and stuff like that. I know what type of situation we're in offensively, and stuff like that. So I try to keep it real.
No, I knew the answer. I just wanted you to clarify it for everybody else. Because one thing that me and you do agree upon, and I was really surprised, is both of us have upset picks this week, and we both had the Patriots beating the Chargers, which I was kind of surprised. I didn't think anybody else would agree. Now, full disclosure, even though you're going to now look at me and question if I know anything about football, the Patriots were my surprise pick to win the AFC East this year. That was kind of my upset. You have surprise picks every year. I really thought the offense would get better. I thought the defense was going to be dominant. And I thought if the offense was just middle of the pack with that defense and Bill Belichick, the rest of the AFC East would beat up each other, and I thought New England 10-11 wins would win.
Yeah.
I was a little off. But I know why I have New England beating the Chargers. Is it just because you're a fan and you want it to happen, or what's the logic behind your Patriots beating the Chargers?
I just think it's one of those games where, like, if you look at obviously both teams start the Chargers, like they've been in a lot of one-score games this season, and they haven't been able to finish those games. Like I said, Chargers have the talent. Obviously, they should win, but like I said, I'm going by history. They are a team that's known to choke, and they've been consistently doing that throughout the season. They have a bunch of talent on their team. They shouldn't be sitting here at 4-7. I thought they would be up there with the Chiefs fighting for the division, with the Ravens, all those top tier teams in the AFC. And like I said, I know New England hasn't been playing well all season, obviously. But Bill Belichick, obviously, I think he is a better coach than Brandon Staley. Obviously, when it comes to game planning and that type of deal. So I think he'll be able to
a little better.
A little bit, yeah. But I think he'll be able to game plan against this Chargers team. Plus, never know what the weather's going to be like too. So I think that plays in a factor a little bit. Patriots play solid defense here and just get somewhat production. I know Mac Jones not starting, it's Bailey Zappi, so 2-0 as a starter, so you never know what he can do. I'm not saying he's great, but Patriots play their style. I think they can pull the upset here, so you never know what happens.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I have a even bolder prediction. I predict that Brandon Staley gets fired after the Patriots win. I think Patriots win Sunday, and I think Staley gets fired Monday, maybe even Sunday night, and not even allowed to board the plane back. They have to make them, drive back. But so you have a West Coast team traveling to the East Coast for an early game. It's a big disadvantage. LA to Boston, there's except for the overseas games, the only distance that's greater is Seattle to Miami. But traditionally, West Coast team traveling to the East Coast to play an early game has a disadvantage. It messes up your body because you're not used to playing a game, which is essentially at 9 a.m. I'm sorry, 10 a.m. 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, at 10 a.m. I got the times mixed up here, but it's hard to do that. And I think that just being off, and I also think the Chargers, I think they can feel it. There's been a lot of rumors that Staley's going to be fired in the next couple of weeks, and a lot of times when there's smoke, there's fire. I think that I just don't see the team being motivated, but I think the Patriots will stay together enough just to win an ugly game. I didn't check the weather report, but Boston weather versus LA weather in December is usually two separate and different things. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. This team's been. Chargers. I'm talking about. They've been pretty disappointing this year, I would say. I thought this would be a team, obviously, in mix to fight for a Super Bowl, but I was dead wrong about that.
But you're not alone. You're not alone in that. Denver Gator will tell you the same thing that every Chiefs fan. Every year we hear about how great the Chargers are, how they're going to be this Super Bowl team, and every year they disappoint. Talent-wise, this is a top 5 team. They got weapons galore, offense, defense. I think Herbert's a top 5 quarterback. It's up for debate.
Oh, yeah.
It's up for debate.
Yeah, he's definitely in there. Yeah,
I think he is. I every time I watch Justin Herbert, I see him do things and it's like, oh my God, if only you had a coach. I said this many times. If you took the Chiefs coaching staff, you put them on the Chargers, it's a 15-win team. I really believe that. And I don't want to see the Chargers get a competent coach, but I think this Brandon Staley, I think it ends Sunday. I think the Patriots win. I watched your video and I was like, oh, we picked the same team. Then I found out you're a Patriots fan, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Is he one of those guys picks? I was pretty sure you weren't, but I thought I'd just double check.
Right.
I'm pulling for the Chargers until they play the Broncos and we whoop them and be the reason Staley gets. So the way it'll work is that he'll get fired Monday. They'll replace him with Kellen Moore, and then they'll beat the Broncos. You may not realize this, Keaton, from Denver Gators' name, but he's a huge Chiefs fan and LSU Tiger fan. So that's something you may not know. Every year, Chargers and Cowboys. That's all we hear about, Chargers, Cowboys. So we're going to go over all the games, but I want to go over the 4 games that me and Keaton picked differently. And we'll go over those 4 first. And everybody in the chat, let Keaton know why I'm right and he's wrong. And all the Lions fans are going to agree with me. Let's start off Saints-Lions. I picked the Saints. All the Lions fans are going to agree with me that the Saints should win this game. Keaton, why did you pick – I'm kind of giving you the easy one here first. Why did you pick the Lions this week?
Well, I just think, like I said, they came off that disappointing loss to the Packers on Thanksgiving. They did not come out aggressively in that game. And if you watch the Packers offensively, they just were aggressive throughout the entire game. Jared Goff had an off day and stuff like that. But I think, between the Saints have been kind of up and down throughout the year. They lost last week to the Falcons and that type of deal. So I just like the Lions to bounce back. I think after a loss, they normally a team that's, they're good at bouncing back the week after. So plus I think they're more talented, obviously, than New Orleans Saints. Saints have a great defense, but they just don't. I just think their offense needs to get more consistency up there. So that's why I'm picking the Lions. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Saints, like I said, but I was kind of just pick the better team. I think the Lions can pull off.
Well, the Lions are the favorite here. This was an upset pick for me. I took the Saints as an upset, and the reason why is that they're in the Big Easy. It can be a disruptive place. You also mentioned something I thought that was pretty on point. The Saints defense is there. It's just the offense. I think the Lions defense the last couple of weeks, and I know James Houston's been injured, but the defense has really regressed the last couple of weeks. Yeah. And Alvin Kamara starting to get heated up. Derek Carr, he threw a pick 6 in the game, but you take away that pick 6, he really did a good job against the Falcons defense and playing without Michael Thomas. I think they figured enough out. It's an upset pick, but I kind of like the Saints and all the Lions fans that are in the chat. I have a strong Lions following. They all agree with me. They think I'm right, and they're saying you're wrong. So, this is my brother from another mother. And man, sorry I'm late. KU is playing. I understand. If you're wondering about that comment, his wife is a huge sports fan and a volleyball coach. If I'm right, one of her students is a KU volleyball player. I could be making that up, but hopefully you don't mind I said that, Chad. But yeah. Saints worst red zone offense and so many offensive players injured. I understand, but Denver Gator, I know you agree with me, and you're telling Keaton that he's wrong. But let's go easy on Keaton. And, of course, everybody knows I'm right and he's wrong, but, we're giving him an opportunity to explain why. Oh, that is awesome. Okay. I was a little worried as soon as I said that you would not be wanting me to say that publicly, but it is cool. So his wife coached one of the KU volleyball players. So, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Get back on track here. Denver Gator, I agree. And this is why I'm always right. So, but it's my upset pick. I think they'll bounce back after a game that they probably should have won against the Saints. Falcons is one of my all-time favorite rivalries. It's an underrated rivalry. It's just fun. back when they were both NFC West teams for some weird reason. Keaton, you're kind of a younger guy. I'm probably like 4 or 5 years older than you. So I remember back when Atlanta and the Saints were NFC West teams, and it was just weird, but
Right.
Lions need to win for pride. Yes, but yeah, one pride's not in the comments yet, but yeah, he would be really, really upset if the Lions didn't win. But yeah, it's my upset. It's one of my upset picks, man. Saints are really good between the 20s. Jonah's back this week, and I think a smart prop bet is Lions running back on the over for yards. I think it's a revenge game for the O-line. The part of the reason I'm taking this is that it's kind of I almost said the Silver Dome. I'm sorry, the Kingdom, the Saints, the playing kind of an underrated place. The offense played really good between the 20s. They kind of crapped out in the red zone. Of course, the pick six was Jesse Bates had a 92-yard interception return for a touchdown last week, but Goff just shredded a defense, except for that pick six, that I think's better than the Lions defense. So, and every week you need an upset pick. So, yeah. So Funk's agreeing with me and saying that you're wrong, Keaton, but he's a Lions fan. So, next game we disagree upon, Carolina and Tampa Bay. You got Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's at home against Carolina. Explain why you're picking the Bucs this week.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the last game against the Colts, I mean, they lost by a touchdown. A game that really they should have won if they would just made a few more plays down the stretch. But they just, Colts obviously another team that's hungry. It's fighting for their playoff spot as well, and they're 6-5 right now. But I just think Tampa Bay, like I said, they've shown some flashes where they can win some games, and Carolina just hasn't. It's funny because I was thinking about picking them as my upset, but I'm like, I was looking at them throughout the season. I'm like, they just have not shown me. I know they fired Frank Wright earlier in the week, but they just haven't really shown me much of anything. Bryce Young's struggling, and it's not all his fault, but he's just been taking a lot of hits and stuff like that. I just haven't really liked what I've seen from Carolina this season, as they're sitting here at 1-10, I believe.
Yeah. So. And they, it'll end up being the Bears will have the number one pick in the draft, and
it's crazy.
It's got it's funny because they're going to pick 1 and they're going to pick 5, and let me throw you another curveball. Something I didn't say I was going to ask you before the show, but let me throw you another curveball because you're a Buckeye fan. How would you feel about Justin Fields throwing to Marvin Harrison Jr. for the Bears? When if the Bears say, you know what, we like Justin Fields, we're just going to draft Marvin Harrison number 1, Buckeye to Buckeye. Like, how would you feel about that?
I feel like that would be. I mean, me personally, I feel like that would be a great connection. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to like I said, Fields has been taking a lot of hits too. He needs to work on the offensive line, fix the offensive line this offseason. But I mean, would it surprise me if he went to Chicago? No, but me personally, I don't really want to see him in Chicago just because of the situation. Just overall, just organization. I just don't like what they got going on over there in terms of like player development and all that stuff. So it would be a great connection for sure, just to see those two playing together.
I saw a mock draft a couple weeks ago, and people kept on blasting this guy because he had at the time Arizona had number 1 pick. It was before Kyler Murray came back, and he said number 1 pick. I go Marvin Harrison Jr. And people are in oh, you're stupid. They taking a court, blah blah blah. And he goes, look, it's like Larry Fitzgerald 2.0. And I was like, it's so hard to argue with.
Right.
I mean, it's just I really think that in a draft loaded with quarterbacks, I just look at how good he is, and if you think Justin Fields can develop at all, why not take the best player in the draft? So,
right.
I apologize because I didn't tell you I was going to ask you these questions before you came on, so I threw some.
You're good.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the only reason by the way, everything you said was correct. Evero was the defensive coordinator in Denver last year. Frank Reich brought him to Carolina. I thought that this was a guy who looked like he was going to be a future NFL head coach. I really thought I knew Carolina's offense was going to struggle, but I thought their defense would be good.
Mm-hmm.
And their defense is terrible. Ike Ekwonu, who ended up being my top player in the draft, was it last year, 2 years ago? He's Carolina Panthers left tackle. He's not.
Yeah.
It was. I don't know if it was last year, 2 years ago. He hasn't developed at all. I thought this guy would be potentially a Pro Bowl left tackle. I mean, the more I watched of him, the more I just loved him. Like he looked like he moved like a guy who was like 230, but he was like 310. He was powerful. He looked like everything you want a left tackle to be. Didn't play like it. No number one wide receiver. I knew Bryce Young was going to struggle a little bit, but I just didn't expect this.
Mm-hmm.
It's something sports bettors pay attention to, is that when a head coach is fired during the regular season, usually that team wins that first game. Yeah, when Antonio Pierce took over, they beat the Giants 30-6, and he looked like a different team. I really expect that to happen, and it's just kind of a cheesy thing to look at, but I always look at trends, and this is a trend throughout history that seems to happen. Teams, usually respond. It was funny because I liked the Carolina hire. I thought they got the right defensive guy. I was like, well, the offense will struggle a little bit, but the defense will be good. They'll probably win, 5 to 8 games, maybe 9 if they get lucky.
Right.
But when I look, the only reason I'm picking Carolina is for the fact that they have a new head coach, and almost every single time this happens, the team rebounds.
Right.
I also think Todd Bowles is going to get fired at the end of the year. Yeah.
He's in the mix to get fired as well of all those other coaches.
And he's a phenomenal defensive mind. Just no quarterback. I don't get me wrong. I like Baker Mayfield. But yeah, I pick Carolina. So everybody agrees that I am two wins right, and you're wrong on both of these. So.
We'll see.
So we'll
go either way.
By the way, everybody, Keaton Talks Sports. I put the YouTube video and I put a link to his channel. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you check out his video. So make sure you do all these things to Keaton Talk Sports. He has a great channel, has some really great videos. So make sure you check out all his stuff here. Next game we disagree upon, and this is one that both of these I really went back and forth. These two, the first two, I 100% agree with everything that you said. I just have the Saints are an upset. Carolina, new head coach, but everything you said is correct. This one's fun. Houston, Denver. The winner has the inside track for probably the final wild card spot in the AFC. The losers kind of on the outside looking in, but definitely not dead in the water. Explain your Houston Denver pick. Now I picked Houston, you picked Denver, so I'm right, you're wrong, obviously. But explain why. And Denver Gator, it really is. I'm an AFC guy, so well, to be honest with you, 49ers Eagles game of the week. But I'm an AFC guy, so when noon comes around, I'm looking at the rest of these games, Arizona, Pittsburgh, I don't give a fuck about. Atlanta, who cares? Washington, Miami, seriously? I'm kind of excited to watch. We're not going to get it, but I'm kind of excited to watch Patriots, Chargers, but I'm also expecting Staley to get fired. The game in Kansas City is going to be Denver and Houston. you're I don't know if you want to tell everybody where you're at, Keaton. I don't know if you're comfortable sharing that.
Oh, I'm from Columbus, Ohio, so I
Yeah.
get all the Browns, Bengals, all that stuff. So
I'm trying to think here. The early games, I'm not sure which one will be on in your area. You're probably like me and you watched Red Zone, but
Red Zone, yeah. I think let's see who the Browns play this week.
the Browns play later, and the Browns. Yeah, your early game more than likely is going to be Denver-Houston, unless
probably.
I'm drawing a blank on how close you are in Indianapolis. You may get suckered.
Oh, might get the it's not that far from Indy. Probably a few hours away from Indianapolis.
Yeah, you may get Indianapolis and Tennessee. Can you imagine how pissed would you be if you had to watch Indy, Tennessee instead of Denver, Houston?
Man, I'll be definitely two different games.
Yeah. I got kind of a weird system. I hate commercials, so I watch whatever game's on, and I flip to the Red Zone, and I keep going back and forth so I don't have to watch a commercial.
Definitely.
Philly, Philly, San Francisco is probably game of the week, but the early game, there's not a better game than Denver and Houston. So Denver Gator, of course you agree with me that Houston's going to win this game, but Keaton is going to tell you why he's picking against your Broncos, or picking for your Broncos, I'm sorry.
So I picked the Denver Broncos to win just because obviously they're on a 5-game winning streak or whatever it is. I think they're on the 5-game winning streak. I think ever since that Miami game where they gave up 70 points, really after that game, their defense has been locked down. They've been playing a lot better on that side of the ball. They saw last week, they basically shut down a Browns offense who's depleted on that side with no Deshaun Watson, no Nick Chubb, that type of deal, obviously. But Russell Wilson, the offense, has been playing really well as of late, and I like the direction that they're going. And obviously, if you have told me after that Dolphins game that they're a playoff team, I would have said, no, they're definitely not. With how that defense is playing, everyone thought they were dead in the water, and they just rode the 5-game winning streak. So I like them to go into Houston and get a win here. But like I said, Houston, they're coming off a loss, so they're going to be just as motivated to get another home win. They're not going to want to lose 2 in a row in Houston.
No, you're completely correct. It's funny because I made fun of the Broncos. I got to go down to Denver for the first time last year. I fell in love with the place. The mountains, it's just beyond beautiful. It's just gorgeous. Yeah. And they were convinced last year that they got Russell Wilson. They were a Super Bowl team. I'm like, you better hold on. So expectations weren't that high when they brought in Sean Payton because of the letdown they had. I was convinced Sean Payton and Russell Wilson was not going to work at all. I was firmly convinced. Early on in the season, I looked like I was right. I was feeling good about myself. Then they beat my Chiefs, and they're the hottest team in the AFC, winning 5 straight, just like you said. You know what? I should have had it pulled up. I apologize. I didn't. If the schedule was, if the playoffs were to start today, let's see here. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I was right. If the playoffs were to start today, it's Colts. But the Colts, Texans, and Broncos all have the same exact record. It's just the Colts would have that 7 spot.
7 spot, yeah.
Yeah. And the Bills are a half game back. The Bills are still in the mix. Denver Gator, you're right. Who was talking about this being a great game 6 weeks ago? And we didn't, here's the thing, Houston, I don't know if you got to watch the Houston game. I watched it on the Red Zone, so I didn't see the whole game. The kicker, the score was 27-24. The Houston kicker, it was Amendola, who was with the Patriots, and he was doing the same thing we're doing. He was sitting on a couch eating chips, watching TV. He got called up by the Texans because their kicker got hurt. The kick bounced off the upright. I mean, it was a 58-yard field goal, bounced off the upright. So literally 2 inches, and we're going in overtime. Who knows who wins that game? Once you go into overtime, you don't know. Keaton, I don't have to tell you about this, but throughout the whole draft process, almost all of last year, I kept on raving about CJ Stroud, and I kept on talking about this is my quarterback number one. You can go back. By the way, everybody can go back. You can look at all my mock drafts. I kept on saying the same thing until I finally believed that the Panthers were taking Bryce Young. I said it was a mistake. I had CJ Stroud going to Carolina. I was like, this is my quarterback number one, blah, blah, blah. Then I kept on hearing that they fell in love with Bryce Young. And it's like, okay, well, whatever. You're going to take the wrong guy. I love this kid. I think he's going to be.
He's played well. See, he's been playing well this season.
Oh God,
taking care of the football. Like he's something special.
Let me ask you this, because you're a Buckeyes fan. He was my quarterback number one. I didn't see this coming. Were you expecting him to come out and be this good so fast?
Not really. I didn't expect him to do what he's doing. Like how he's taking care of the football, like the way he is. I mean, he's been playing well. I think he's definitely going to probably in mix for rookie of the year. I mean, as crazy as that sounds, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he won it.
No, I mean, I think you have to put him at rookie of the year. I don't know anybody else who would really make it. Jalen Carter has been playing lights out.
Yeah.
If he didn't get in, great, I had another name freeze. With your Patriots, he looked like the best corner in football early on. Gonzalez.
Christian Gonzalez, yeah.
Yeah. I first couple of weeks of the season, I'm watching him, and my jaw was literally dropping. I was like, "This might be the best corner in the National Football League as a rookie." Yeah, exactly. And
unfortunately, he got hurt though. But
that was a guy I fell in love with during the draft process because I had him ranked. I had him ranked below Joey Porter Jr. I don't know. Devin Witherspoon, I had a hard time reading, to be honest with you. But the more I watched the Gonzalez, the more I just was like, this is a guy who just makes football look easy. I thought it was a lack of effort. I thought it was a lack of intensity. But the more I watched him play, he just makes football look easy. He's just that good. And
right.
Oh God, the first couple of games of the season, I thought, okay, so I'm sorry. I went on a rant. I'm over caffeinated. I'm sorry. I'm rubbing the salt in the wound of like the best corner in football getting injured on your team. I'll be honest with you. I don't have a lot of logic behind my Houston-Denver pick. Denver Gator, if you can't tell by the name, is a huge Chiefs LSU Tiger fan. So he definitely does not want Denver to win.
I can understand that, being in the same division.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I just think it's one of those things where after 5 straight, it's just time. And to be honest with you, Keaton, I'm listening to everything that you're saying. I'm kind of like, maybe you're right. Maybe Denver gets 6 straight. But but even Broncos fans don't want to win 6 straight. Let's be honest.
Right. We'll see.
Oh, my buddy Tim's here. Hey, I've never asked you this. I'll ask you both. Of the handful of franchises that have never won a Super Bowl, who does it first? Oh God, what a great question. So let's see here. Let's see if we can get the teams here, and I'm probably going to leave one off. All right. Let's start here. Chargers, Panthers, Jacksonville, Detroit. I almost said the Saints, but the Saints won 2008. Detroit. Did I say Atlanta already?
No.
Okay, Atlanta, Tennessee. I almost said the Jets, but no, the Jets have won one. It was back in the 1800s, but the Jets did win a Super Bowl. And if I left one off, I apologize. Oh, Arizona. Arizona's never won one.
Cardinals, yeah.
Yeah. I already know my answer.
Who does it first? Oh, so you're asking who wins their first Super Bowl first?
Out of the teams. And by the way, because we have a lot of Lions fans here, let's just take Detroit off the table. I'm playing. You can say Detroit, Keaton. So let's see here. Out of these teams here, oh, you know what? We forgot Houston Texans. So let's see here: Houston Texans, Arizona, Atlanta, Carolina, Jacksonville, Chargers, Lions. I know I'm leaving one off. Yeah, Tim. I get a guest coming on, and you throw this tough one at us here. I know my answer. I already know my answer, but Keaton, my buddy Tim, please forgive him. Oh, God damn it!
Oh,
Denver
Buffalo.
Gators. Buffalo.
Okay.
That's
I don't know how I forgot that either.
Buffalo. Yeah. So I already know who I got. Oh, you know who else we forgot? Bengals.
Oh, they won one, right? They used to won, right? Oh, they never won one.
No.
Oh,
they won Super Bowl 16. They won Super Bowl 23. They won 2 years ago. No, never won one. Never won one. I actually picked them to beat the Rams. I thought that was like possible dynasty in the making after they beat my Chiefs. But no, we left the Bengals off. So yeah, I should have. This is a great question. Hey, listen, all questions are answered. Anything goes, Tim. Even though you're making it hard on my guest, it's the first time I bring him on, and you throw this tough question at him. So, and why? Tim, what if I asked you a tough question, like what's your favorite Taylor Swift song? And I know you own all the albums. No, I'm giving a very hard time here. Keaton, is this too tough of a question, man? Because it's a tough one. I have the answer. I have the correct answer, by the way.
I would say who does it first. I would probably say. I have two teams. Can I throw in two teams?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would probably say Cincinnati because they've been there before, and obviously we all know if Joe Burrow, when he's healthy, we know what type of team the Bengals can be. Yeah. And I would throw the Lions in there.
Nobody wants to see Lions in there. So, no,
they got. No, I'm just saying, like they got a team though. They got a team. It's just a matter of. I was gonna throw Buffalo in there, but I'm like, I don't know. They got too much stuff going on outside of just the football field. So, but yeah.
Oh God, that's a good one. Oh God. I'll give you my answer. It's Jacksonville. I love what they're building right now. I think that Trevor Lawrence was my MVP pick. I think they're building something really good. I had a guy who's a Jacksonville fan, a UCF Jaguar. He came on my show and he says he circled Kansas City on the calendar, but that division is kind of falling apart. And but yeah, I got Jacksonville. I would have told you if Burrow wasn't so injury prone, and I think he is, and part of it to do with the offensive line woes, I would have put Cincinnati. Before Burrow's injury, I said the team that I feared most in the AFC was the Bengals. So
Bengals, yeah.
How
do you feel about? Go ahead, sir.
No. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying like you brought up Jacksonville. How do you feel if they got home field advantage? How do you feel about your Chiefs going down there and try to get to the Super Bowl?
Well, nobody wants to see that. I'm
just saying.
It's funny because the Chiefs have had the Jags number in Jacksonville for a while, and I don't want to press my luck, so it would scare me. It really would. But of the teams in the AFC that have a home field advantage, like I remember we lost to the Patriots first time we hosted the AFC Championship game. If New England was good, I wouldn't want to play there. A team like New York, even though the Jets aren't going to the playoffs, I would fear that. I would hate to go to Cincinnati. And I wouldn't want to go to Buffalo either. But like when you think about teams with a home field advantage, I'm not looking at Jacksonville and going, oh no, I'm going to Jacksonville in December. That's just terrible. The weather may be 50, My sister and her husband, actually traveled down there and they went to a few Jags games. They said it's awesome, but I mean, sooner or later, law of averages, Jacksonville's going to beat Kansas City in Jacksonville. But no, I'm not really that worried. I'm not worried about it. I'd rather go to Jacksonville than Baltimore. I'd rather go to Jacksonville.
Really? Oh yeah, Baltimore's that's a tough place.
Denver Gator has some problems with his keyboard. He says Titans and Broncos win. Broncos get 7 seeds. So you misspelled Texans, Denver Gator. You misspelled Texans. You got the whole word wrong. It's Titans. So here's the deal, Keaton. He means to say Titans and Texans, but he got the key. He totally fucked up. So I apologize. Kevin, welcome, brother. I don't recognize you, man. So I'm glad you're here, man. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Kevin? I don't recognize you. Make sure you subscribe to Keaton Talk Sports. I like to see Kevin's on board. Kevin's on board. He knows who's right and he knows who's wrong. Also likes the Titans. You know what? I wanted to get over all the games that we disagree upon, but I think me and Keaton both like the Colts this week. I'm kind of surprised we're getting some Titans love here because Titans
this week to win.
You like the Titans?
Yeah, I picked the Titans to win.
You
upset,
did,
or not upset? Yeah.
Oh, really? You know what? I'm sorry, I didn't have that one listed. That's on me.
Yeah, that was the last one.
Let's do that one. And I'm sorry, I fucked up.
Oh, no, you're good.
No, I mean, I went through your video and I picked all the games we disagree upon. I picked the Colts. You picked. I dropped the ball. So Denver Gator, you're telling me that you like two of Keaton's picks and you don't like mine? Are you on drugs down there or what? I mean, you misspelled two completely. You misspelled Titans instead of Colts, and you get sorry. So let's do this here. I'll throw a curveball here because you like the Titans. I like the Colts. Why will the Titans at home only a 1-point dog? So it's basically a coin flip. Titans at home against the Colts. Why will the Titans beat the Colts?
Well, if you look at that first matchup, it was 23-16. Colts won in Indy earlier in the year. Like I said, low-scoring game. Titans actually had a chance to win, but they had a turnover late in that game that gave the Colts a chance to win. You look at Tennessee this year; they've been undefeated. They're undefeated. They haven't lost a home game yet. So, like I said, I'm just riding with the hot hand. They've been hot at home. They actually play a lot better at home than they do on the road. Given this year. So divisional matchups is, you never know what can happen. Can go back and forth, but I think Tennessee and Indy will split this year. I had that since my season picks going back before the season started.
I'm going to correct you. I knew that they were better at home. They're 4-1. No.
They're undefeated at home.
No, they're undefeated at home. You're right. It's listed as a home game, but it was in London.
Oh, London. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? I ignored that completely. So you do your homework, and I'm sitting here just making shit up as I go along. I picked the Colts, but I know that Tennessee's much better at home, but I didn't know they're 4-0. So Keaton brings facts, does his homework, and I'm just overly caffeinated, just making shit up as we go on. And I don't know why I slammed a cup of coffee and an energy drink back to back before I came on the air. I'm all over the place.
What kind of coffee you like, by the way?
Huh?
What type of coffee you like, by the way?
You know what? I'm really weird when it comes to coffee. I literally just I buy the cheap stuff. All right, so I buy it in bulk. I go to Sam's Club and I buy the donut blend. Not the Dunkin', the cheap donut the donut blend or whatever the fuck they call it. They call it donut blend. It's the cheap Walmart kind. You get a box of 100 for $27.
Damn.
Yeah. And I love it. I every once in a while I get nuts. I'll buy some creamer, but I usually just drink black coffee. Yeah.
Man. I'm not big. I don't drink coffee. I'm not a really big coffee drinker, but I know a lot of my friends like black coffee. I was like, I don't know how y'all do that. I honestly don't know how y'all do that.
So here's the weird thing. Like if I go get coffee anywhere else, like I know there's a place called Scooters. I don't know if they have them in Columbus, but it's a coffee place. I'll get tons of cream and tons of sugar. If I go anywhere, I get tons of cream and tons of sugar. At home, it's almost always black.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have a bad energy drink addiction. Keys, if he was on the air, he does. I guess he says I'm on cocaine. It's not true, but I drink way too many energy drinks. I have a bad energy drink addiction. I literally chugged one before I went on the air, and then I brought a cup of coffee with me because I am crazy.
Jumping off the walls.
I am jumping off the walls. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like such a dick because I really thought that we both had the Colts. So I need to pay a little more. I need to do more homework like Keaton did, and he's obviously the brains. I'm obviously the looks. So me and Dan were the only two people. Yeah, I think Keaton probably had Stroud as number one over Bryce Young.
Over Bryce, yeah, I think for sure.
So here, this is going to be the last time I go on a rant, my caffeinated rant. But during the draft combine, the one thing that really stood out about C.J. Stroud, and I pay attention to this, is that who do the players gravitate towards? And C.J. Stroud, everybody kind of gravitated towards him. If you watch, Bryce Young went and hung out with him because Bryce Young didn't participate. What they did, and his agent made a very smart move, is he had him wear a backpack. And the reason why he had a backpack and a giant sweatshirt is because they were trying to convince NFL scouts that he was bigger because he was listed at 195. He probably played at 180 at Alabama. So they had the backpack, so it made him look bigger than he actually was. Smart move by his agent. But I noticed during the combine, because C.J. Stroud did all the drills, Bryce Young and everybody gravitated towards C.J. Stroud. During the combine, because there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks, see which one's the alpha. Because at the Heisman ceremony, you could tell C.J. Stroud was the alpha. You go to the combine, everybody gravitated towards C.J. Stroud. I heard that C.J. Stroud buys all of his offensive linemen. I know offensive linemen, maybe all of his offensive players. He takes them out to eat every Friday.
Yeah,
those are things leaders do, and it was all those little things that C.J. Stroud did, and then of course how he played against Georgia was amazing too.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So I think you have a third person here in Keaton who will agree. Dan, can't Broncos to win more games because he wants to say, I know. I want to say from preseason, I told you so, but that's why I'm picking them. Who has a better Swift Kelsey combo, Eagles or Chiefs? You know what? That's a good one here. DeAndre Swift was my dream to come to Kansas City. Instead, they drafted CEH instead. I'm kind of pissed about that. I'll let Keaton answer this one first here. Swift, Kelsey combo, Eagles or Chiefs?
Probably the Chiefs, obviously. I mean, like I said, seeing the Chiefs games on TV, like seeing Taylor Swift on there, everyone's like, why are they showing Taylor Swift? Like, who cares? Like, I mean, I guess it's good for the game, but yeah, it's cool.
There is literally people after the first time it was on TV, people from Kansas City instantly got. I love it, but people from Kansas City hate it, and I love it. I think it's great. Man, hey Kevin, man, we're new, and make sure you subscribe to me. Make sure you also subscribe to Keaton Talk Sports. The links are in the description below, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Oh man, Perry, dude, we got double dip from Canada tonight, man. Perry, I am doing fantastic. Make sure you check out Keaton Talk Sports. He does NBA as well as NFL. Even though we disagree on a few games, I've been right on every single one, and Keaton is 0-4 so far. So, man, dude, they thank the love here. What's your most important game of the week? Or the two most important. Okay, so the early game Houston, Denver. There's no. I mean, the rest of these early games suck, to be honest with you, except for the afternoon games, the game of the week. And this is one me and Keaton also disagree upon. And everybody, by the way, will agree that I am right and Keaton's wrong. But we got differences of opinion here. San Francisco, Philly, Keaton, educate everybody why you have the Eagles. Believe it or not, they were a 3-point home dog when I did my video. And they are, they're still a 3-point home dog. So,
yeah, so I picked the Eagles. I mean, I was going back and forth, obviously, with this. It's, two great teams fighting for top of the NFC. But I picked the Eagles just because they've already shown that they can win games ugly. They can win games high scoring. You saw the game last week against Buffalo. They won high scoring there, even though their defense didn't play up to caliber. I thought the defense would be better, but but they still, at the end of the day, at this time of year, they still find ways to win. And Jalen Hurts is playing phenomenal football right now. Another guy that's in the mix for MVP, that type of deal. But the 49ers, obviously, look at them. They're a complete team as well. So, the Eagles can't play from behind here against this Niners team. I think they have to come out early. Obviously, first team, they're 10-1 or whatever, being a 3-point underdog. So I think they're going to come out just as motivated to let them know that, we're the best team in the NFC. So, but it should be a phenomenal game. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers went in there and got the dub.
No, I mean, what a great statement. I agree with everything. The A.J. Brown, he is going to play. He's a little banged up. I mean, what a great season he's having.
Definitely.
One of the reasons I picked San Francisco is I talked earlier when the Chargers play the Patriots at a West Coast team coming to the East Coast, but the 49ers have destroyed teams on the East Coast. They beat Pittsburgh week 1. It was 30-7.
Yeah,
they destroyed Jacksonville. I think it was 37-3 or something like that. 35-3. For some reason or another, San Francisco, they traveled to the East Coast. They just beat the shit out of East Coast teams. I don't know why. It's weird. And Pittsburgh and Jacksonville have two really good teams. San Francisco is healthy, and I'm surprised Philly's a 3-point home dog. I doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I got San Francisco here, but I really could see it going either way. By the way, that is my game of the week, San Francisco and Philly. It's going to be a great game. I really hope that I can watch Denver, Houston early, and then afternoon. And, of course, Sunday night for Chiefs-Packers, I'll be live here on YouTube doing
that's going to be a good game, too.
Reaction. Oh, yeah, it's going to be a great game. Keaton, if you're available, join the live stream. I'll be talking, doing play-by-play and reaction. I do an A+ job.
Nice.
Well, hopefully I do an A+ job here. When I first started doing it, I didn't think people would want to watch, but people really started getting involved and really liking it. Denver Gator says the Oregon-Washington game is getting out of control. Washington just pulled a 4-way. I'm going to watch the whole thing on DVR. I don't care, and I'll let Keaton give his opinion, but I really don't think it matters because Oregon's offense can score so much so fast, so it doesn't bother me one way or another. Keaton, they are ruining the game for us who have this on DVR, so I apologize. But do you have an opinion on this? Either way, or is it just like, hey?
They're down right now. Or Oregon's down right now. Excuse me. Yeah. But it's a long game, so you never know what can happen. I assume it's still in the first half, right?
Yeah. So, you guys can let us know, but I believe it's still in the first half. So I'm not too worried about it. Oregon can score fast, but if Washington wins, I think you have to put them in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Hey, Kevin, welcome. Who are your favorite teams? Oh, this is awesome. Chiefs in San Francisco. That is awesome. It's a Montana thing, which is awesome. Joe Montana. Oh God, it was so it was so nuts when he was here in Kansas City. It really was. It was some good times for Chiefs fans. Some good times for Chiefs fans.
Definitely.
Listen, Keaton. I know you're on the East Coast. Do you have enough time to go over the rest of the games, or do you need to get out of here? I'm going to try to do this rapid fire, but do you have enough time to go over the rest of the games?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome, mate. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. The games that we agree upon. I'm just rapid fire. Let everybody know kind of what your thoughts are. If you have your scores from your video, you can give that. Pittsburgh, Arizona. Both of us have Pittsburgh. Can you let everybody know why Steelers win this game?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, their defense has been consistent all season. Obviously, it's been the story of them. Offense, they just fired Matt Canada early on. They had 400 yards of offense last week in Cincinnati, I believe. So, I mean, they're looking a lot better on that side. Would like to see more consistency with their offense if they want to compete or surprise in the playoffs. But their defense is legit. I mean, TJ Watt, like you mentioned earlier, he's something special. He could definitely be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. But like I said, Mike Tomlin's never had a losing record. That continues to show. I'm surprised, but yeah, they just continue to find ways to win at the end of the day, and I think they can shut down or contain Kyler Murray. He's still making his way back. I think he's still a little bit rusty in that type of deal, so you never know. But it should be a pretty good game, low scoring. So
let me throw another curveball here because we had a guy last week who was just adamant that Pickett's not the answer. Your opinion, Kenny Pickett, is he a franchise quarterback? What are your thoughts?
When he first came in, I thought obviously the potential was there when he was in Pittsburgh coming in. And I think he can be. It's just a matter of him not making dumb decisions with the football. He does a lot of, when he's in the pocket, he does a lot of spinning around and he takes in a sack. He just needs to make the simple play. Obviously, he has the talent at the receiver position to make plays, but I think he could become something special if he wants to be. But obviously, he hasn't really shown that consistently. He just needs to get more consistency down with his play.
I agree completely. I thought Matt Canada was just a bad fit. I kind of want to see what they do. I don't think that they're going to stick with the current offensive because if I remember right, it's the quarterback coach is calling the plays, but the running back coach is the offensive coordinator. They'll bring in a new offensive coordinator, and I kind of want to see Pickett with an offensive coordinator, but I think he's got the potential to be a really good NFL quarterback. I think the Steelers don't need to make a change at quarterback, but I'm not also sold on Pickett.
Right.
One guy came in the chat last week just like Pickett sucks, and it's like, man, I kind of want to see what he can do. Next game, Atlanta at the Jets. We both like Atlanta. I had a man crush on Desmond Ridder, but he hasn't shown that he can get it done. I'm not really sure what's going to happen during the offseason, but we both like the Falcons here. What's your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, I picked the Falcons just because, like I said, between these two teams, they can score more points, obviously. The Jets obviously haven't – their offense is just so bad. They're just a mess over there. Benching Zach Wilson, thinking that was it Tim Doyle, whatever his name is, Tim Doyle, starting him against Miami didn't really make a difference. Their inability to move the ball down the field on offense. You're just not going to win games with just playing solid defense. And then, like I said, you see the Jets defense; they're on the field pretty much the entire game because their offense can't do anything, take advantage of their opportunities. So, I mean, I think the Falcons are a better team here. I think they should be able to put up more points, I believe. Even though the Jets defense has been their bright spot all season. So Desmond Ridder needs to just make simple plays and not try to do too much with the football against that defense.
I agree completely. It's so sad because I look at that Jets defense and it's like, God, this defense is really good if they just had an average offense,
Right.
But, yeah, I agree that Falcons, all they got to do is just not turn over the ball, score 14 points. So worst name ever, Canada, and
I see what you. Yeah, Cannon Mac. Yeah.
One other game we agree upon, Dolphins Commanders. I picked a mid-season Tyreek Hill as my MVP. Am I crazy to think that he could win MVP?
Not at all. He's that special. I mean, you can't. There's no answer for him. He's just so fast off with him. He's just very fast receiver. No one can really go on one-on-one.
Yeah, let me ask you a trick question here. Is there any chance Commanders can win this game?
They could. I mean, with their offense. I mean, with like I said, Sam Howell. We agreed upon this earlier that he has a lot of potential as a quarterback. But with their defense, like giving away Chase Young and was it Montez Sweat at the deadline?
Yeah.
I just think that's been. I mean, if you watch their defense over the past few weeks, they just been getting up so many points on that side. I just don't see how this defense can stack up against a Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and company. I think the Dolphins, honestly, they should have a field day against that defense.
Yeah, I agree completely, man. You just bring up some really great points. It's kind of funny. I'm looking through here. So 4 early games we agree upon, 4 early games we disagree upon. And I apologize for not getting the Colts-Titans game down earlier that we disagreed upon. That's my fault. Hopefully, you'll forgive me here. And
No, you're good.
I hope so, man. I'm gonna have a great time. I hope I can get you to come back on. The deal says 2023 Cowboys checklist. Dak, legit MVP candidate. Dolly Parton in a cheerleader outfit. Jimmy Johnson inducted in Ring of Honor. You know the deal. I want to ask you this, and I'll ask Keaton Talk Sports, even though he's he's kind of younger here, because I will always believe Jimmy Johnson was more responsible for those Super Bowls than Jerry Jones. I'd love to know your opinion. Jerry getting back to the Super Bowl hopeful. Keaton, man, what do you think about this here? Dak, is he a legit MVP candidate? We didn't even bring that up.
I mean, the way he's playing right now, I mean, he's definitely in the mix. I mean, like I said, it's just a matter of can he duplicate what he's doing in the regular season into the postseason, and we have yet to see that. But I mean, I'm curious to see what if Dallas obviously can win a Super Bowl this year. There's people that if you watch First Take, obviously Stephen A. Smith talks about the Cowboys. He obviously doesn't like the Cowboy fans and all that stuff, but anyway. Yeah. But I mean,
it's funny because I have nothing but the utmost respect for Stephen A. Smith. Him coming up was just it's an amazing story. I don't know if you know his background, but like he started off doing like late night radio and just grinded. But I don't watch him now. I think it's more entertainment than informative. But the guy can talk, man. I mean, like world class talker. What a great story. Like I saw like how he had to come up, through journalism. It was brutal. Yeah. I mean, it was like late nights doing like, I think it was like the 3 a.m. It was like 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Like, it's just crazy. Great story. I don't watch him now, but nothing but respect for him. But he's more entertainment than informative. At least that's my opinion. But Dolly Parton in a cheerleader outfit. My mom loves Dolly Parton, so like she loves it. We'll just kind of Jimmy Johnson into the Ring of Honor. Now, Keaton, this is probably a little before your time. The Cowboys in the 90s. If you don't want to answer, so you don't have to. Who's more responsible, Jimmy or Jerry?
That's interesting. I know I've seen a lot. Jerry Jones, obviously, on First Take. I mean, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I would say, I don't know. I probably would give it to Jerry Jones.
Really?
Just because, I mean, he's done a lot. Obviously, he has a lot to do with like personnel, what the Cowboys have going on right now, and then obviously back in the '90s. But I don't know. I mean, I know Jimmy Johnson, but I don't know like a lot about his history. But I would probably give it to Jerry there, just because I've seen him on TV. I think he has more of the responsibilities for that.
Kevin asked, "What's your take on Pete Prisco?" And Kevin, man, I'm really sorry. I'm just drawing a complete blank. I don't know who that is. Keaton, do you know who Pete Prisco is? I literally don't know who that is. I am very, very, very sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm actually going to look at that right now. He's does like CBS. So here's the drill. A lot of the mainstream guys I don't listen to, and the main reason why is that I think it's more entertainment than informative. That's kind of why I go over like point spreads and I look to gamblers, is because I pay attention to gambling trends, and I think that's kind of like people that are investing their money. I think they can be a little more impartial, but that's just kind of me, and so I follow some different people. The only people are like nationwide. Around the Six podcast with Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks. That's a must follow. Some guys on the NFL Network. I do watch Good Morning Football, and I didn't get a chance to watch NFL Live. I was halfway through it, and I had saved the Broncos. I'm sorry, not the Broncos, the Cowboys schedule. Because Cowboys' schedule coming up is brutal. Let me see if I got it memorized. I think I got down right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Eagles next week, which is going to be game of the week.
Mm-hmm.
2 back-to-back AFC East games. I think it's Bills, then Dolphins.
Dolphins, yeah.
And
then they play the Lions.
The Lions. And then they end the season with Washington. But like
Washington,
those 4 games, like those are huge. Those are huge. You think he's an idiot? I don't follow a lot of mainstream guys like that. If it's CBS Sportsline, which I just looked up, I don't really pay attention to that. Chris Sims was doing a show on there for a while. I like Chris Sims, but it's more of an entertainment thing. So Jerry bought the car. Jimmy was the driver to take him across the finish line. That's fair. I'm always going to believe Jimmy had more to do than Jerry, but it's a coin flip. Honoring Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor is smart and a good move, and kudos. And here's the thing. If I remember correctly, you know the deal. I could be way off. I think he bought the Cowboys for $250 million. It's worth over $6 billion, maybe $7 billion. I mean, that's a good investment. So he 28 times his investment. There's not a better businessman as an owner than Jerry Jones.
Jones, yeah.
Yeah, there really isn't. Little fun fact for you, Keaton. The richest man in Dallas is the Chiefs owner. The Chiefs owner lives in Dallas. A lot of people don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
The Chiefs owner in Dallas.
What's the Chiefs owner's name is
It's Clark Hunt.
Clark. Okay, I knew it was Clark something. I can't remember his name.
Yeah. So Lamar Hunt, the AFC trophy is called the Lamar Hunt Trophy, and they were the Dallas Texans. They moved to Kansas City, and but they tried to corner the silver. They're old school oil, old school oil money. A lot of people think Jerry Jones is the richest man in Dallas. It's actually Clark Hunt. They live in Dallas. Kind of fact. Yeah, they live in Dallas. They just fly up here on a private jet, watch the game, and go back home. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I like Sims. Yeah, I'm Florio. I'm kind of so on, but I love Chris Sims on TV. I really like Chris Sims. Florio, I'm kind of okay about, but that's that all the CBS Sportsline stuff. I'm not looking at it and going, oh, hey, I wonder what these guys think. As egotistical as I'm going to come across, Kevin, I know more than those guys do, to be honest with you. And I you know what? I'm over caffeinated. I'm jacked up. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, I'm ringing my own bell a little too much today. Let's bring up the other 3 games that we agree upon, and let's talk about this here. This is going to be a fun one that we're not going to be able to watch because we're going to watch San Francisco and Philly, but Cleveland at LA. We both like the Rams. Let me throw this out at you. The way the schedule works out, if the Rams win this game, they'll hold the tiebreaker for sweeping the Seahawks. Now, they lost to the Packers, so that's going to be kind of a battle there, but we both like the Chiefs. So by the end of the day, if I'm doing my math correct, and I don't have it pulled up anymore, the Rams would hold the 7th spot in the NFC with a win, and the Packers losing. And who's the other? I literally just said the team like 3 seconds ago. I know Minnesota lost. Let me ask you this here. Are the Rams going to the playoffs? Because at the end of the week, they would hold that final spot, the 7 seed. Is that a playoff team? Are they going to stay there?
I think they're a playoff team if they win. Like I said in my video, I think, like I said, they're getting healthy at the right time. Matthew Stafford and the offense is coming along. After that bye week, they definitely need that bye week because they weren't playing well before that. But now they're getting more guys back on both sides, especially on the defense. So I think if they win, I think they're gonna be a playoff team. And I think that's a team, honestly, that could surprise. I'm not saying they're gonna win the whole thing, but they could upset one of those teams. Plus, they have experience. They've been to the Super Bowl a few years ago, whatever, against the Bengals. So they know what it takes to win in the postseason.
That was some phenomenal takes. I mean, I agree with everything that you said. You just nailed it. This is a team that when they get in, they could be dangerous, and I'm kind of hoping that it could be San Francisco, LA in the first round. But I like the fact that you could have a division rivalry in the first round. You could also have Minnesota and Detroit in the first round, which would be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, the NFC is looking really, really interesting. But I think the Rams, I've been kind of hyping them up for everything that you said. I think they're going to end up getting that 7 spot, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You're doing better than me, and I'm one to which. If I remember right, and I should know this right off the top of my head, Keaton, do you have your total tally for on your video? You have your total for the year?
Yes, I'm 100 and I think I'm like 111, like 67, I believe.
You know what?
On the season.
I forget what I am off the top of my head. I had a great week last week, and I ended up going over 50% for the spread. So I'm 116 and 64. Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, Kevin, that's a good number, man. That's a damn good number.
That's solid.
Yeah, I mean, it's a damn good number. 2 more games here, Sunday night and Monday night, and then I'll let Keaton go here. And by the way, Keaton, I can't thank you enough for coming on my show, staying with me a little late. I know you're on East Coast time. I know you're a young kid. You probably got like 3 dates tonight, probably one at midnight, one at 2, one at 4. So I know you probably got like a 5-girl rotation. I'm kind of ruining it for you. Just remember, call them baby. That's advice from Dan Talks Footballs. Make sure you call the girl baby. Do not get your rotation mixed up by calling them the wrong name. Just call them all baby. Chiefs Packers. We both like the Chiefs. Go into a little bit of detail here because I'm a Chiefs fan. Longtime Chiefs season ticket holder. I can't really be impartial on my Chiefs. I just can't do it. So can you break down Chiefs Packers a little bit?
Yeah, so these 2 teams obviously start the Chiefs. I think this will be a great matchup. I think it's going to come down like the Packers, like their defense. Can they stop Mahomes? Can they contain them in those receivers on that side? And then can you get enough production from the Packers offense? Can Jordan Love show up when it matters? and put up enough points. And that's going to be, Chiefs defense has been pretty consistent all year. I really like what I've seen on that side. But I think if, like I said, you get enough, if the Chiefs continue to play solid defense like they have been, and Mahomes and that offense continues to do what they do, like I said, they have experience. They know what it takes to win. I do worry a little bit about their the Chiefs receivers a little bit, just because if you watch that, I don't know if you watched the Lions game, that first game, just so many just drop passes. And I think, when Mahomes needs, those receivers to make a play in the playoffs, they're gonna have to make those catches. But I think the Chiefs are just a better team. Obviously, I think their experience in the Green Bay. But like I said, this game's in Lambeau, so you never know. It can, be an upset. You never know. But I like the Chiefs here to get a close win here. I think like I said, they know what it takes to win.
I predicted the Chiefs week 1 would win 41-23. And there's a guy, Luke G, the Luke G Field Review. Shout out to Luke G. He has a Lions channel, so I went on his show. Like, we're not worried about the Lions. We're going to blow them out. You're not that good. And I also bet a couple $100 on the game. And the Lions fans still give me shit about it, and I deserve it. He came on my next show and rubbed it in a little bit, and he had, they had fun doing it, and by the way, I've had a lot of love from Lions fans, so I was more than happy to eat some crow, but it was very, very frustrating about that. So thanks for bringing that up. Kevin says not in my group. So Kevin, just remember, call them all baby. That's my advice to Keaton. So Keaton's going to start doing that from now on. The one thing that I like about the Chiefs in this game is the Packers' offensive line's really banged up. Backyardy's out. And that's the reason why I really like Kansas City, is that I like the defensive line against the offensive line. By the way, Green Bay, smart move, drafting 2 tight ends, 3 receivers in this draft. Kind of the biggest FU to Rodgers. Like, all this time, they never drafted any positional group help, and then they get rid of Rodgers, get some extra draft capital. Kind of interested what Green Bay is going to do, because remember, they traded Rasul Douglas to Buffalo, so they have some extra draft. They have, if I remember correctly, an extra 2nd and 3rd round pick in this draft. So they have a 1st round pick, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. Be kind of fun to see what Green Bay does in the draft, but me and Keaton both agree Chiefs will win this one. I think it's going to be a fun game, but I don't think it's going to be like I got a touchdown. I think if I remember, I think I picked 27-20. Then that's probably pretty fair, something like that.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
Monday Night Football, Cincinnati, Jacksonville. We obviously both picked Jacksonville. Let me ask you this here. Two questions here. Number one, what's your opinion on Jacksonville? Are they an elite AFC team, or are they just going to win the South and fall apart? And the Bengals, do they have a chance? Is there any possibility they can rebound this season and do anything?
That's a good question. I'll start the Bengals first. I think it's over for Cincinnati, in my opinion. Like I said, losing Joe Burrow, he means everything for their team. And I think ever since he went down, I mean, you saw last week against the Steelers, and what's his name? Browning, I believe his name is.
Yeah.
They just couldn't get any offense going down the field. And you just saw, like, in the Ravens game gives me a good example of it. Like, once Burrow went down, you saw the Bengals team just look depleted. They just didn't look like, I wouldn't say they gave up, but like they kind of lost hope a little bit when he went out in that game. So I kind of think like losing him just throws out any expectations they had, because I had the Bengals honestly in the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year, because I thought, Burrow, with him healthy, with Jamar Chase and all those guys they have on that side of the ball, I thought they had what it took to get back. But did the rest of the AFC just not caught up to the Bengals, but just got more competitive, and obviously the injuries they're dealing with. So, and then Jacksonville, are they a legit team? Is that what you said?
Yeah. I mean,
they have the pieces. I think they have the pieces to, like I said, to contend. It's just going to be a matter of can't like. I don't know. That's tough.
I mean, I don't think they're on the Chiefs level yet, but I mean,
Not yet. No,
I would be floored if they didn't win the South. But I think the Jags make it to the first round and blow it.
I think they
wouldn't be surprised if they were one and done in the playoffs either, Kevin.
It wouldn't surprise me if they made, like I say, like you said, I think they can maybe win a game and then, but if they get to the AFC Championship game and lose, I wouldn't be surprised there. But it's just gonna have to get past those teams like Baltimore, all those teams. Well, it depends on who they play first in the first round. I'll just leave it at that. But so.
I mean, I think that they win the South. They're going to host a playoff game. It'll just be a question of who they play. But I wouldn't be surprised they lost in the first round. I really wouldn't, Kevin.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
So listen, Keaton stayed on a little longer than I told him he would. So everybody thank Keaton for coming on and sharing his expertise, and it was a great show. Denver Gator says, "Nice meeting you, Keaton. I subbed. I hope to see you around again." Keaton, you have an open invitation. I hope that you come back on the show and enlighten us. You got at least Denver Gator and myself as a subscriber. For those of you who are tuning in, the links below, man. Subscribe to this channel. If you're an NBA fan, check his stuff out. I don't follow basketball myself, but I'm gonna watch his basketball videos anyway. Keaton, man, before we end it here, any final thoughts, questions, concerns, anything you want to address?
Not really. I mean, I'm just excited for the weekend, for a great week of college football. I'm excited to see what teams win and see what teams get to the final or get in that Final Four. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the rest of the season for the NFL and to see who gets home field. I think that's, whoever gets home field, I think it's going to have a chance to come out. So we'll see what happens there, but it's very competitive, honestly, for college and NFL this year. I'm actually kind of surprised, but it's great. It's great though. I mean,
it's a great season. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We got some great games, so I'm pretty excited. My boy Chad says great show. Yeah, Keaton just nailed it, and I apologize for keeping you late. Hopefully your 3 days that you got are good. And guys, hey, listen, by the way, I will be on. I don't have the live stream set up yet, but you guys know I'm going to do Chiefs Packers Sunday night. I'll have the live stream set up, so tune in. And check me out on YouTube for play-by-play and reaction. And I'll see you back. Hopefully, I'll see everybody back on Sunday night. Guys, have a great weekend.